जिह्वां विद्यानिधिः पातु कण्ठं भरतवन्दितः स्कन्धौ दिव्यायुधः पातु भुजौ भग्नेशकार्मुकः करौ सीतापतिः पातु हृदयं जामदग्न्यजित् मध्यं पातु खरध्वंसी नाभिं जाम्बवदाश्रयः सुग्रीवेशः कटी पातु सक्थिनी हनुमत्प्रभुः ऊरू रघूत्तमः पातु रक्षः कुलविनाशकृत् जानुनी सेतकृत् पातु जङ्घे दशमुखान्तकः पादौ विभीषणश्रीदः पातु रामोऽखिलं वपुः एतां रामबलोपेतां रक्षां यः सुकृती पठेत् सचिरायुः सुखी पुत्री विजयी विनयी भवेत् पातालभूतलव्योमचारिणश्छद्मचारिणः न द्रष्टुमपि शक्तास्ते रक्षितं रामनामभिः रामेति रामभद्रेति रामचन्द्रेति वा स्मरन् नरो न लिप्यते पापैर्भुक्तिं मुक्तिं च विन्दति जगज्जयित्रैकमन्त्रेण रामनाम्नाभिरक्षितम् यः कण्ठे धारयेत् तस्य करस्थाः सर्वसिद्धयः वज्रपञ्जरनामेदं यो रामकवचं स्मरेत् अव्याहताज्ञः सर्वत्र लभते जयमङ्गलम् आदिष्टवान् यथा स्वप्ने राम रक्षामि मां हरः तथा लिखितवान् प्रातः प्रबुद्धो बुधकौशिकः आरामः कल्पवृक्षाणां विरामः सकलापदाम् अभिरामस्त्रिलोकानां रामः श्रीमान् स नः प्रभुः तरुणौ रूपसम्पन्नौ सुकुमारौ महाबलौ पुण्डरीकविशालाक्षौ चीरकृष्णाजिनाम्बरौ फलमूलाशिनौ दान्तौ तापसौ ब्रह्मचारिणौ पुत्रौ दशरथस्यैतौ भ्रातरौ रामलक्ष्मणौ शरण्यौ सर्वसत्त्वानां श्रेष्ठौ सर्वधनुष्मतां रक्षः कुलनिहन्तारौ त्रायेतान्नो रघूत्तमौ आत्तसज्जधनुषा विशुस्पृशौ अक्षयाशुगनिषङ्गसङ्गिनौ रक्षणाय मम रामलक्ष्मणौ अग्रतः पथि सदैव गच्छताम् सन्नद्धः कवची खड्गी चापबाणधरो युवा गच्छन्मनोरथान्नश्च रामः पातु स लक्ष्मणः रामो दाशरथिः शूरो लक्ष्मणानुचरो बली काकुत्स्थः पुरुषः पूर्णः कौसल्येयो रघूत्तमः वेदान्तवेद्यो यज्ञेशः पुराणपुरुषोत्तमः जानकीवल्लभः श्रीमानप्रमेयपराक्रमः इत्येतानि जपन्नित्यं मद्भक्तः श्रद्धयान्वितः अश्वमेधाधिकं पुण्यं सम्प्राप्नोति न संशयः रामं दुर्वादलश्यामं पद्माक्षं पीतवाससं स्तुवन्ति नामभिर्दिव्यैर्न ते संसारिणो नराः रामं लक्ष्मणपूर्वजं रघुवरं सीतापतिं सुन्दरम् काकुत्स्थं करुणार्णवं गुणनिधिं विप्रप्रियं धार्मिकम् राजेन्द्रं सत्यसन्धं दशरथतनयं श्यामलं शान्तमूर्तिम् वन्दे लोकाभिरामं रघुकुलतिलकं राघवं रावणारिम् रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। श्रीराम राम रघुनन्दन राम राम श्रीराम राम भरताग्रज राम राम श्रीराम राम रणकर्कश राम राम श्रीराम राम शरणं भव राम राम श्रीरामचन्द्र चरणौ मनसा स्मरामि श्रीरामचन्द्र चरणौ वचसा गृह्णामि श्रीरामचन्द्र चरणौ शिरसा नमामि श्रीरामचन्द्र चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये। माता रामो मत्पिता रामचन्द्रः स्वामी रामो मत्सखा रामचन्द्रः सर्वस्वं मे रामचन्द्रो दयालुः नान्यं जाने नैव जाने न जाने। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम् लोकाभिरामं रणरङ्गधीरं राजीवनेत्रं रघुवंशनाथं कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरन्तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शरणं प्रपद्ये। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। भर्जनं भवबीजानामर्जनं सुखसम्पदां तर्जनं यमदूतानां राम रामेति गर्जनम्। रामो राजमणिः सदा विजयते रामं रमेशं भजे रामेणाभिहता निशाचरचमू रामाय तस्मै नमः। रामान्नास्ति परायणं परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। रामे चित्तलयः सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर। राम रामेति रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने।
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vaishnavanam Ayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murtibheda-vibhagine Vyomavad-vyapta-dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Chaitanyam Sarvagam Sarvam Sarvabhutaguhashayam Yat Sarvavishayatitam Tasmai Sarvavide Namaha. The Sima or the Avadhi at the culmination of all negation, Avasa, its appearance, Abhavaha, disappearance, Nachanyatha. Other than that, so we can't explain other than the Chidabhasa that cannot be explained. Logasya yuktitasyatam tadgrahasya tathasati. And so, yuktita, only people can explain the reasoning, the appearance and disappearance of the Rishi or consciousness. And tathasati tadgrahasya. And when this Chidavasa is there, then there is Graha or the knowledge of Chit also through the agency of that. Nanu evam drishya sankrantiha pinde agnivad bhaved. Taking example and looking at all the aspects of the example, ayo visphullinga taptayo visphullingavat, like the hot iron ball, the sparks emerging from red hot iron ball, but there is sankramanam, entry of the fire into the iron. If that is the example, then do you mean that there is entry of consciousness into buddhi? And that entry of fire is an action. Mukhavasudityedat adarshe tandirakritam says no. Although we give the example of iron and fire, we do not mean that Just as fire enters the iron, so does consciousness enter the buddhi. We mean there, just as the face enters the mirror as a reflection. Tad nirakritam, this doubt has been already resolved. Krishnayo lohitavasam ityetad drishtamuchyate. Drishtam in drishtantam. So what part of drishtanta illustration is intended? Krishnayo lohitavasam. Krishnaya, the iron that is Krishna, that is black. Lohitavasam, that black iron appears to be red, lohita. That is the part of the drishtanta illustration that is intended. Not that the fire enters the iron, but that the iron appears to be red. That is the aspect of drishtanta that is intended. Drishtadashtanta tulyatvam natu sarvatmana kvachita. It cannot be that a drishtanta illustration applies to dashtanta illustrated in all the aspects. Tatheva chetanavasam chittam chaitanyavad bhavet. So we mean that chittam chetanavasam bhavet. Chaitanyavat, like consciousness, chittam, the mind also becomes, shines, enlivened, gets enlivened with consciousness as though mukhavaso yathadarshe, just as in the mirror there is appearance or reflection of face. Abhasa chodito mrisha, and we already said that this abhasa or reflection is mrisha, mithya. And so Chaitanya abhasa also is mithya. Therefore there is no real entry, etc. Had it been real, red color in the iron is real. And so you can say that there is an entry of fire into iron. You do not mean that the consciousness appearing in the buddhi is real. Otherwise there may have to be a real entry of the consciousness. But here, just as the face appears in the mirror, so also buddhi appears as though it is conscious. Chittam chetanamityet shastra yukti vivarjitam. Nowhere it is said there, chittam chetanam, that the chitta, the mind is conscious. Nowhere it is said. Shastra yukti vivarjitam. Shastra doesn't say that the mind is conscious. Nor does the yukti say, because it is made of the 5 elements, and therefore it cannot be conscious. And therefore, the idea is that abhasa chodito mrisha. The abhasa, the consciousness that appears in the buddhi is mrisha or mithya, that buddhi is not really conscious. It appears conscious. So that's not the case with the iron. It's not that it appears red, it becomes red. Not that buddhi does not. Because the buddhi is accepted as conscious by itself, dehasya viprasangasya, then body also appears to be conscious. So body also will have accepted to be conscious. Chakshurades tathaivacha, and chakshu, all sense organs also will have accepted as conscious. Tapyastu, why not? What's wrong with that? Tanna lokayatika sangatehe, that cannot be, because we will be then following the lokayatika mata, the charvakas, the materialists. Nachadhihi drishyasmiti yadi abhaso na chetasi. If chetasi abhaso na, if there is no reflection or the reflected consciousness in the buddhi, then buddhi will never know that I am drishihi, I am consciousness. Let it be. Suppose buddhi does not know, so what's the big deal? Sadasmiti dhiyo bhave. I think we have done it up to verse 89. So Tikakara says, Brahmasmiti dhya abhave kakshatihi. Here dhya means knowledge. Brahmasmiti dhya abhave. In absence of knowledge that I am Brahman, what is to be lost? Suppose the knowledge that I am Brahma does not take place, what is to be lost? Ka kshati. So, what is the loss there? Ityaha sadasmi. So the verse 90 says, Sadasmi tidhiyo bhave vyartham syat tattvamasyapi yushmadashmad vibhagagne syadarthavadidam vachah. Sadasmi iti dhiya abhave. Sadasmi, I am Sat, I am Brahman. Iti dhiya abhave, in absence of that knowledge. Vyartham syat tattvamasi api. Then this Upadesha tattvamasi also will become meaningless. So Tikakara says, tattvamasi api. Api avadhanatha. Vyartham eva syat tattvamasi. Evakar will go there. Tattvamasi vyartham eva syat. If there is no knowledge that I am Brahman on the part of the buddhi or ahankara, then this Upadesha, you are Brahman, would be meaningless. Many Atika says, Tattvamasi vakyam aikya grahakam uktadhiya abhave व्यर्थम एवं अप्रमाण स्याद इत्यर्थः ऐक्य ग्राहकम वाक्यम तत्त्वमसि दैट thou art is meant for the listener to recognize himself as Aikyam means the identity of himself with Brahman. So this is the Vakya that enables the listener, that is the mumukshu, to recognize Aikyam, or the identity with Brahman. Uktadiya abhave. And if that identity that I am Brahman doesn't take place, vyartham eva syad, then that statement would be meaningless. Any meaningless statement cannot be a pramanam syad. That means that it doesn't serve any purpose. It is not a pramanam. It's not a means of knowledge, directly or indirectly. And that cannot be. That cannot be a redundant statement in scriptures. It has to have some meaning. And you say tattvamasi, nothing happens there because he is not tvam, he is not tat. In that case, this statement would not serve any purpose, it would be redundant. Astu vayartham, let it be. Tattvamasi is vyartha. Because tad vakya shrotrunam sarvesham jhatati brahmasmi buddhivritti utpatya darshanat. You say that tattvamasi is pramanam. Pramakaranam pramanam, so that which creates the valid knowledge is called pramanam, means of knowledge. And tattvamasi, for it to be pramanam, should create valid knowledge in listener. So when the teacher, guru, does the upadesha, you are Brahman, then the listener should respond, I am Brahman. Tad vakya shrotrunam sarvesham jhatati brahmasmi buddhi utpatti adarsanat. But we find that in most people, this buddhi aham Brahma, the response doesn't quickly come in most people. Sarvesham. All the listeners, they don't right away respond. If they respond, it takes time, but right away nobody responds. It looks like that I am Brahman when he is told that you are Brahman. So it looks like it is not pramana. Doesn't seem to serve the purpose of creating knowledge. So let it be a pramana. Iti ashankya. So when does this vakya, you are Brahman, does not create the right knowledge? So what kind of a state of mind or preparation of mind is required on the part of the mumukshu shrota for this vakya to be effective, for this mahavakya to do its job? what is the preparation required on the part of the listener? So, reason why you find that the Mahavakya does not seem to be effective in many cases. That means that over and above the Upadesha Mahavakya, something else is required also on the part of the Mumukshu listener. Yushmad Asmad Vibhagagne. So Yushmad means you, Anatma. Asmad means I, Atma. Atma, Anatma Vibhagagne. One who has the knowledge of the Vibhaga, the distinction between Atma and Anatma. So one who has the Atma Anatma Viveka, in that one, this Vakya will be effective. Otherwise not. So for this Vakya to become Pramanam, not only the Vakya is required, but then some preparation also is required on the part of the listener. We say that eyes are the Pramanam for the color and form, but sometimes it doesn't happen if there is a defect in the eyes. Or if that object is away, not within the sight, hidden somehow, some obstruction is there. The sun is shining and still not evident, there is an obstruction, maybe clouds. So, that when you look at the sky, you will see the sun, there is no obstruction. So for Pramana also to perform their function, you need some favorable conditions. So also this Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, for it to do its job will require some favorable condition of the nature of Atma, Anatma, Viveka. A discrimination, meaning that knowing the distinction of Atma from Anatma. So says Adhikarana Pramiti Janako Veda iti. Veda Pramiti Janaka. Veda does create Pramiti or Prama. Adhikarana in Adhikari does. Iti Nyaya. So this Vakya comes from some place, and so this is Nyaya known. Nyaya means a rule. Adhikarana Pramiti Janako Veda. Veda creates Pramiti, the valid knowledge, Adhikarana, for Adhikari, for the one who is prepared. Iti Nyayat Samyak Padartha Vijnanavataheva. Padartha Vijnana, one who has a Vijnanam, knowledge of Tvam Padartha and Tat Padartha. Tattvamasi Mahavakya is told that consists of three words, Tat and Tvam and Asi. So listeners should know the meaning of the words. For knowing the meaning of Vakya or a statement, you must know the meaning of the words that make up that Vakya. And so for this Vakya to register its meaning in the mind of the listener, he should be prepared, or he should have the preparation of knowing what is Tat. What do you mean Tat? Never heard of that. Tvam. So those words, the meaning of those words should be known to him. Then the sentence or statement will be known, or statement will create the knowledge in him of identity. So he knows Tat all right, Tvam all right. This statement tells the identity of Tat and Tvam. For any Vakya to work, the listener should know the meaning of the words comprising the Vakya. That much preparation is expected on the part of the listener, that he knows the meaning of these words which are making up a sentence. If a given word is some word is not known, the sentence will not make sense to us. Some different word of some different language is used, Children do that sometimes. They speak 3-4 languages. Speak Gujarati, in between he said Tamil words, because mother is Tamilian, so people are lost. So this is the preparation required on the part of the listener, that they should have the knowledge of the meaning of the words comprising this sentence. Samyak padartha vijnanavateva vakyasabodhe adhikarat atmanat vibhaga jnanavateva pumsi. Pumsi in the Puman, seventh case, Atma Anatma Vibhaga Jnanavati, seventh case. In the person possessed of the knowledge of the Vibhaga, the distinction between Atma and Anatma, because they are all mixed up, that's the problem. Because if Atma and Anatma were distinct from each other, then there is no big deal. But here, Atma and Anatma are as though mixed up. Basically, that begins from Chidabhasa. Chit is Atma, Buddhi is Anatma, and Chidabhasa seems to be a effect of the lumping of Atma and Anatma. So when I take Chidabhasa to myself, already Atma and Anatma both are involved there. And so when this is that body is Anatma that is not known, the Buddhi is Anatma that is not known, then I will not know what is meant by you. The teacher says, you are Brahman. You is Sarvanama, means you, I respond with I. So what's the meaning of I that I understand? If the body is taken to be I, mind is taken to be I, then I think that's what he's saying, is that I possessed a body, or I identify the body as Brahman. So the listener should know what's the meaning of I. He should know that the body I am not, or the mind I am not, ahankara I am not. That knowledge of the I, distinct from non-I, should be there in the listener. Otherwise the message will be, you are Brahman as I understand myself to be, which is ahankara, then I think that saying that I am Brahman. Oh, will that not create in you pride or arrogance? It may. If ahankara is thought to be Brahman, it will create arrogance. Because I think that I am something, when ahankara, this ahankara, this other ahankara, then I am someone greater than others. If that I is not ahankara, distinct from the body, mind, sense complex, that I is Brahman, then I realize that everybody is Brahman. So this knowledge, when it truly takes place, can never create pride. It will only remove all the pride. Because pride is a product of the notion arising from identification with the body, mind, sense complex. Atmanatma vibhaga jnanavat eva pumsi. In the person possessed of the vibhaga jnanam, knowledge of the distinction of the Atma and Anatma, idam vakyam arthavata. This vakya would be meaningful, effective, will serve the purpose. In a person like that, the sarvan prati jhatiti, your observation is right. That sarvesham jhatiti brahmasi buddhi utpati adarshana. We don't find that in everybody right away the response is I am Brahman. That is true. That buddhi takes place only in the one who knows the distinction between Atma and Anatma. So now the author will start that. What is Atma and Anatma Viveka? In his own way. Tameva Yushmadasmad Vivekam Darshayatum Upakramate. Yushmad Asmad Vivekam. The Viveka, the separation, distinction between Yushmad and Asmad. Yushmad, you, Asmad, I. Vivekam darshayatum. Because now we arrived at understanding that distinction should be known, author then darshayatu. So now author shows how to discriminate between the non-self and the self. Upakramate. So first of all the background is created here. introduction is given here. So what is the scope of anatma? To know how atma is to be distinguished. Mavedam ityadina. So next verse is Mavedam pratyayo jneyau Yushmadyevana samshaya ahamityasmadishtasyat ayamasmiti chobhayo. So we use all these pronouns. And what is involved in those pronouns is what the author brings to our attention. Mama idam pratyayau. Mama pratyaya, idam pratyaya, mama. This pratyaya, this concept. Mama, mine. Idam, this. Gneyau, yushmadiyeva na samshaya. Yushmadiyeva gneyau iti na samshaya. Both of them belong Yushmat or Anatma. There is no doubt about that. Mama and Idam, both of them belong to Anatma without doubt. Idam putradi mama eti cha pratyau. Idam putradi mama. So Idam also I know is different from me. And mama also, mine also I know different from me. Like my book, my clock, my son. Yushmadi anatmani eva gneyau. It's very clear that both of them belong to anatma. So Anatma is called Yushmad here. Because in you there can never be an I notion. You always stands distinct from I. Therefore, for anatma, Yushmad, the pronoun Yushmad or you is used because there the notion of I-ness is never there. The you always excludes the I, and I always excludes you. I may not exclude he or they, etc., but I always excludes you. So idam, I never saw this, and mine. Both of these are definitely distinct from I, and so Yushmadi, they are in Anatma, Gneyo. But how do you call Putradi Mama? Putra, etc. has sort of entered into me mind. Putradi Bhāhyāsasya Dehādhyāsa Pranalikaya eva Asmadarte Praveshahat. Putra is a distinct there, and see I call it mine. Deha Bhāhyārtasya Dehādhyāsa Pranalikaya. Putra is Bhāhyārtha, is known to be someone out there. Dehādhyāsa, because of the identification or superimposition of the Deha upon Atma and vice versa, there is calling Deha as I. Then Putra becomes mine. So Mama is related to Aham. If Deha is Aham, then Putra becomes Mama. So that way Putra gains the status of being mine through the pranalika, through the parampara, through sequence of calling this body as I. Through that sequence, the Putra becomes mine. Bhāhyāda sambandhopi anatma dharma. That sambandha mama, that not only Putra is anatma, but that relation mine also is anatma. Bhāhyāda sambandhopi anatma dharma. That sambandha mine also is the nature of anatma. Yukta muktam mavedamiti pratyau yushmadi eva. That mavedam pratyau yushmadi eva gneyau. Because that mama pratyau, not only mama, the object which is mine, or object that is this, are anatma, even the notion mine, the notion even this are also anatma. You follow? This is, object is mine. In my mind there is this now notion, or of the concept that this is mine, that mine also is known as different from I. So not only object part is anatma, but then the notion my part, that my also is anatma, or this part is anatma, this also is anatma. Mama edame pratyayau yushmadiyeva iti is a pratyayau. The object that is called mama idam are anatma, but even the concept mine and this also is an anatma. Na samshaya iti sarvatra, that applies everywhere, na samshaya. The next line, ahamiti asmad ishtasyat, asmadi ishtasyat, sorry. Ahamiti asmadi ishtasyat. Asmadi, seventh case of asmad. So aham, asmadi, that mama idam yushmadi. Ahamiti asmadi, in us, in me. So asmad is treated as a word and then declined. So asmadi. Otherwise there is no, in the asmad pratyaya there is no asmadi. But take asmad itself as a word, or yushmad itself as a word, and decline yushmadi, asmadi, etc. Ahamidi pratyaya avasadvara bhute व्यावहारिके अस्मदि आत्मनि अहंकर्तरि इष्टस्यात्. Even aham pratyaya also doesn't primarily belong to Atma. As long as aham is distinguished from tvam, then Atma will not be primary meaning of even aham. Then primary means ahankara. So ahamidi pratyaya avasa dvara bhute vyavaharike asmadi. Because there is avasa, chidavasa in buddhi, or aham vritti. That's how aham vritti became enlivened. That is how now it is the status of I. Aham vritti is the status of I because of being enlivened by the chidavasa. So avasa dvara bhute vyavaharike asmadi. So vyavaharike, the vyavaharika atma becomes part of vyavahara, I and you. Real atma does not become part of vyavahara. Adhyaksha illumines everything, never becomes part of vyavahara. That adhyaksha becomes part of vyavahara when adhyaksha that is reflected aham vritti is taken to be aham or ahankara. So that will say it is asmat pratyaya. Asmadi atmani ahankartari ishtasyat. Therefore, that aham, that pronoun, see idam pronoun applies to yushmat. Mama pronoun applies to yushmat. Aham is the pronoun applies to asmad, asmadi ishtasyat. Ahankartari atmani ishtasyat applies to atma. So in the atma and atma viveka, that aham would be desirable or accepted as belonging to atma. Ahamiti eva ullekha darshanat, because we have called it aham, therefore it should be called atma. So anatma atma up to this point, that ahankara also is classified as atma or aham. Ayam iti cha ubhayoho ayam. Now, mama and idam are definitely yushmat. Aham is definitely asmat. In between there is this ayam, asmi iti. So when you say ayam dehadi asmi iti cha, this body, etc., I am. Ubhayoho atmanatmanoho pratyaya. This body is called mama, at that time it is called anatma. When I say aham, deha, then it becomes atma. So deha becomes denoted by the pratyaya mama. And more often that becomes denoted by pratyaya aham. So sometimes I recognize the distinction, I say my body. When I go to a doctor, etc. Otherwise I usually use take body to be mine. So this body is also called ayam. Ayam deha. Therefore, asmi iti ayam. When you use the pronoun ayam, then it is this, which is anatma. Asmi, when I say I am, then it becomes atma. So, ayam deha, aham asmi, I am this body. This body means anatma. I am means atma. Therefore, this involves both atma and anatma, understand. This mama and idam only involves anatma. Aham only involves atma. But then means I am asmi. Then involves both atma and anatma. This is simple. Our vyavhara. So, where we use all these different pronouns, in what sense? Just to bring it to our attention. Atmanatma vishayanam pratyanam sankirnataya asankirnataya cha vishayan uktva. So, atmanatma vishayanam pratyanam. Pratyaya concepts, atma vishaya concept, I, anatma vishaya concept, you. Sankirnataya, asankirnataya. Sankirna distinct. So, I is definitely atma pratyaya. You is definitely anatma pratyaya. Ayam can be atma pratyaya also, anatma pratyaya also. So, the asankirna. So, the author has shown how these concepts, I, atma and anatma, in some cases very distinct, some cases mixed up also. Like I am there. Vishayan uktva. So what are the vishayas or what are the objects of these pratyayas or the concepts? I have told. Ukta viveka siddhyartham. Now for viveka, distinguishing the atma from anatma, tesham guna-pradhana bhavena visheshana visheshya bhavo grahya ityaha. See, atma and anatma do not enjoy the same degree or same status. Atma is pradhana, anatma is gauna. One is pradhana, important, mukhya, primary, other one is secondary. One is independent, other is dependent. One is primary, other is secondary. So that aspect also must be stated. In the Atma, Anatma distinction, not only Atma is different from Anatma, but Atma is primary, Anatma is secondary. That aspect also we should know. Ukta viveka siddhyartham tesham guna pradhana bhavena. Guna means gauna, secondary. Pradhana, pradhanya, primary. Visheshana, visheshya bhavaha. Visheshana is guna. Visheshya is pradhana. So when you say red, orange cloth, orange is visheshana, cloth is visheshya. In that the cloth is independent. Doesn't depend upon the orange to be there. Orange is dependent, depends on the cloth to be there. So visheshana is always dependent, visheshya independent. Visheshana, gaunam secondary, visheshya pradhanam primary. So anyonyeti, next verse is anyonyapekshaya tesham pradhana gunateshyate visheshana visheshyatvam tatha grahyam hi yuktitah. Anyonya apeksha tesham pradhana gunata ishyate. Because in a way they are dependent upon each other, therefore there is in them the primary and secondary aspects, or primariness, secondariness. So, mama idam, this is mine. So for mama, it depends upon idam depends therefore, but then this is mine. Therefore, I am pradhanam and mine is gaunam. Or orange cloth, orange is gaunam, cloth is pradhanam. So, visheshana visheshya bhava. So, anyonya apekshaya tesham pradhana gunata ishyate. Pradhana primary, gunata secondary, because each one needs the other in a way. Anyonya apekshaya. Orange needs the cloth, and cloth needs the orange for the expression orange cloth. But then, therefore, pradhana gunata ishyate is very desirable that they enjoy a relationship of being primary and secondary. So that is how Atma, Anatma. Anatma is called Anatma in reference to Atma. And Atma is called Atma in reference to Anatma. For the concept of Atma, the concept of Anatma is also necessary. Had there not been Anatma, we would not have used the word Atma. So therefore, Atma stands distinct from Anatma. So Atma calls for the concept of Anatma. Anatma calls for the concept of Atma. That Atma, Anatma, both the concepts are dependent upon each other. So, anyonya apekshaya tesham pradhan gunata ishyate. But both are not of the same degree. There, Atma is pradhana and Anatma is guna, gauna. Visheshana, visheshatvam. Similarly, where there is a relationship of visheshana, visheshya. Visheshana, the qualification, and visheshya, qualified, adjective and substance. So, orange is the adjective, cloth is the substance. So, visheshana, orange, visheshya, cloth. Tatha grahyam, there also yuktitaha. That we should know that the visheshana, the orange is gaunam, is secondary, visheshana, cloth is pradhanam, primary. Spashtam, so this doesn't need any explanation, tika. Visheshana, visheshatvam, yuktitaha, grahyamiti, uktameva, viviccha darshayati. Then the teacher said that visheshana, visheshatvam, yuktitaha, grahyam. You need to apply some reasoning to determine what is visheshana, what is vishesha, what is qualification, what is qualified. Some yukti is required. So, uktam viviccha eva, viviccha darshayati. That same thing is shown with distinction, distinguishing the two. Mamedamiti. Mavedam dvayamapyetata. Madhyamasya visheshanam. Dhani gomanyatha tadvata. Dehoham karturevacha. Mama idam dvayamapi etat. Both mama idam dvayam, both of these dvayam, mama idam, mama and idam, I and mine, madhyamasya visheshanam. Now that is what is madhyamasya. So you look at the verse 91, in that madhyama, aham iti asmadishta, so aham, that's what it means here. So in short, mama idam dvayamiti madhyamasya ahamasya visheshanam. So mine is also visheshan of I, and idam also is visheshan of I. What is in between? Madhyama means what happens, what occurs in the middle. In the verse 91, what occurs in the middle is aham shabda of the two lines. So that mama is visheshana of aham. Idam also is the visheshana of aham. So madhyamasya madhyamasya purva shloke madhye nirdishtasya. Madhye nirdishtasya, what is indicated in the middle, in the earlier verse? Asmadarthasya atmanah visheshanam. Ahamiti asmat ishtaha. So, asmat arthasya. So, what is the meaning of the pronoun asmat? There is atma. So, atmanah visheshanam. So, mama also becomes visheshanam atma. Idam also becomes visheshanam atma. Both are gauna. Atma is pradhanam. Idam mama iti dvayam manusyameti pratyapeksha ityartha. This and mine, both of these are the, you can say, visheshana or adjectives of Atma. How does this become mine? How does this book become mine? For that there must be aham. So manusyoham. First the notion is what? Manusyoham. I am a human being. I am so and this is my book. So my book, my pen, my something comes after I. There's no I, that I is not Atma. That I is Manusya, Swami, so, that I am, then this becomes mine. So Manusya is the pratyaya apekshaya. Apekshaya means with reference to the pratyaya, the notion that I am Manusya. Then only I can call this idam and mama. Idam mama, that this book is mine. That I can say, provided there is aham to begin with. And aham must be the same degree as idam. Not atma as aham, because atma not related. So aham must be vyavaharika aham. So manusyoham. With that aham, the idam and mama are related. So you can say both of them are visheshanam, sort of adjectives, idam and mama, meaning pradhana and gauna, with reference to aham. Tatra udaharanam, dhani goman yatha tadvata. Dhani, dhanam asya asti iti dhanam. Gauhu asya asti iti goman. The one that possesses dhanam is called dhani. One that possesses cow is goman. Yatha dhanadi idantvaspadam sat dehapeksha mattvaspadam ahankartu siddham. So yatha dhanadi idantvaspadam. That cow or dhanam is this cow and this money or wealth. Then that becomes mine. How does it become mine? Deha apekshaya. Always cow is an entity, independent, separate. How do you call it mine? With reference to the deha. So first of all, aham buddhin the deha, that I am so and so, then only it becomes my money or my cow. So deha apekshaya mamattvaspadam ahankartu siddham. So dhani, goman. So this is that dhana, go, etc. They become the possessed by me when there is a possessor. Understand that adhyaksha is not possessor. Ahankara is possessor. So first notion of ahankara must be there, which arises from identification with the upadhi. Like manusyoham. Then comes the dhani, goman. Tattaddeho ahankartuhu tattaddeha sthulo deha ahankartuhu atmana बाह्यधनादेपेक्षया ahantvaspadateya visheshanam eva ityartha. But then this deha, I call it I. And so, with reference to dhanam, this is closer. With reference to go, it is closer. So this deha I call I. This dhanam I don't call I. The go I don't call I call mine. Because they are with reference to the body, which is first called I. So that wealth or cow, these things become possessed by me, provided there is me. A vyavaharika me. Who is that me? The one who is identified with the body. So bahya dhanadi apekshaya, otherwise this also is not aham. The body also is ultimately not aham. But compared to that dhanam, this is the bahyam. Dhana is out there, cow is out there, compared to that, the body is here. So compared to both of them, this body gets the designation I. Bahya dhanadi apekshaya ahantvaspadatataya. A time will come when body also may become the idamaspadam. But when I am thinking of the dhanam and go, then I call them mine. At that time, who is I? The body, because they are connected to the body. So ahantva aspadaya visheshanam eva. Therefore, both this deha ahankar to atmana visheshanam. This dhanam becomes visheshanam of Devadatta. And the body of Devadatta becomes visheshanam of that ahankara, I. So, therefore, deha visheshanam, deha also becomes visheshanam ahankara. Ahankara is inner. So, ahankara says, I am the body. So, that way, body becomes the visheshanam of ahankara and dhanam etc. becomes visheshana of that I identified with the body etc. Evacha chakarat atmanopi. Of atma also will become visheshanas. Soham jnata ityadi ullekhe. So soham jnata, that jnata I am iti ullekhe. Soham apeksha pradhanabhuta vyahankarta visheshana vidyojyam. Then ahankara also will become visheshan. When the concept of atma goes to adhyaksha, then ahankara also becomes visheshan. Then it becomes external. So what is out there becomes a visheshan with reference to what is in there. So that dhanam which is out there becomes visheshan with reference to the ahankarta over here. Ahankarta becomes visheshan with reference to atma that is in there. So that is now relatively. Dependent, independent. Gaunam, pradhanam. So in that sense, Atma will become ultimately independent. And everything else becomes Visheshana Atma. But until then, as long as Ahankarta is known as Atma, then Dhanam, Go, etc. become Visheshanam. Even Deha also becomes Visheshanam of Ahankara. So first Deha becomes Visheshanam of Ahankara. Through that, dhanam and go also become visheshana of ahankara. Ahankara is visheshana, dhanam becomes ahankara or devadatta. Before that, the body became the visheshana of that ahankara. Through that, the dhanam, go, etc. became visheshana. Okay, I think we will take a break here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Shankaram Shankarat